After 3 attempts, I finally got the crisscross stitch pattern down, and this is what I did. Let me walk you through what I've done in my 3 attempts. I tried to do the crisscross pattern using a drop stitch, but it did not work. So let me show you what I did that worked. I'll keep this and I will use this yarn. So we're going to start with our foundation chain as usual. I make my first 2 smaller for a sharp corner. 2. This is 2. And then I'm going to cast on an odd number of chains. So for this swatch, I think I will just do 13 or 15. I'll do 15. So 1, 2, and this is a slip knot. 1, 2, and then I'll relax my 3, 4, 5. I'll do that up to 13, up to 15. So I have 15 cast on chain, and then I'll flip over and I'll do a basic knit through my dragon up at the back for my first row, a basic knit. So I'll skip the first one because this loop is already taking the first space, and I'll look for the second ump right here and I'll do a basic knit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll try to extend it a little bit so the contraction doesn't pull the yarn too much by the time I'm crisscrossing in the second row. So I'm going to extend my loop to 3 fingers like so. So instead of 2 fingers, I'll be using 3 fingers right here. Same as the 3 fingers I use for the foundation chain. So that will account for our crisscross. Any contraction that will happen with it. What is pattern contraction? Is when you are crossing over a yarn or you're twisting a yarn, and when you're doing that, you're pulling. And what it does is that it reduces the width of your blanket, and it is very common with patterns such as the honeycomb pattern or the cable pattern, or anything that involves you crossing your loop over, slipping one behind or in front and crossing your loop over. That's what causes your pattern contraction. So extending your loop more than the size that you regularly have will account for that contraction that might take place. Of course, that will mean that it will be a yarn eater. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and one more, 15. There you go. And 15. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 odd number of chains and 15 loops that I'll be working with. So for the pattern, for the crisscross, the first shall be the last shall be the first. So you're not going to drop any stitch right here. So I'm already here at the stage, right? So this will be, hold on, sorry. This will be the first one that I'm going to, so I'm going to work this up, no drop stitch. So I'll knit that, take this third one here, which is now like a pair. So you're having 2 pair like this, another pair, another pair, another pair, another pair, another pair, and another pair right here. So I'm going to pull the second one of this pair first, extend my loop again, so it accounts for the contraction that will take the 3 fingers. Same thing, come to the back. This is a pair now. This picks up this 3 fingers. And then same thing over here. 3 fingers. Do not pull so tight. All right. So if you're a tight knitter, which I am regularly, you will need to relax your stitches right here. This is another pair. The second will be the first that you pick, and then the first will come over and do a 3 loop. Again, this is a pair. I'll slip this one down towards me and I'll pick the second one. Three fingers. Again, this is another pair. Slip this down, pick this and pull out. Again, relax your stitches so it is straight. If you don't, you're going to have some bunching right here and a weird coiled look under. Now, if you want that wavy look, you could go with that. Another pair, slip this towards me up here, pick the second one, 3, and the next one, 3. There you go. Now this is the last pair. This comes first. Again, you see I'm not pulling too much in. This is where I am. I'm going to take my yarn and I'll pull that new yarn up to account for that stretch. And then this will go this way. That's 3 fingers. And this is what you'll be having for your second row. Now going back from right, same thing. I will not drop a stitch. I'll just do a basic knit here, just the same way I started a basic knit here. I'll start a basic knit here on the row going towards the left. Basic knit. Again, these two becomes a pair now. Remember, in the previous row, these two were the pair and these two were another pair. But by the time I'm going up and I do my basic knit at this end, the next 2 loops become a pair. And that is what will give you this crisscrossing that you're seeing here, which was one of the things that I learned from the swatch that I made previously. In that, they were remaining a pair every time I was turning because I was dropping a stitch at both ends and I was giving them like 2 pair, 2 pair, 2 pair. So in this crisscross, your 2 loops will not consistently be a pair in each row. So this pair will reoccur in the next 2 rows. So every other rows, this will be a pair. But the next row now, this and this will become a pair, which is what you see right now. So this was the pair at first, right? And this is the next row. Guess what? I will leave this. This will pair up with another set from this pair. And then do your pull. The second becomes the first becomes the second. So do not pull so much that it contracts your pattern. Just take from the working yarn extra if you need. So this is a pair now. Second becomes the first. This comes backwards. That is slipping now up. And then you pick this. 3 fingers, pick this, pull from there, and you pull this out like so. That's 3 fingers. Now it's already forming, as you can see. I will finish up with this all through this row, and I'll do like maybe 3 to 4 more rows, and I'll show you what it's looking like. If I have any other thing, I will tell you. So basically, this is going to be the repeat pattern. You're going to repeat row 1 and row 2 up till when you get to where you want to build your blanket. Remember, row 1, which I started from my left to right, I knitted the first and then I paired the rest. Row 2, I knitted the first on my right and I paired the rest. Row 3, I will knit the first on my left and I will pair the rest. Row 4 like that, so you alternate like that, which is what will give you your crisscross. Again, if you're a tight knitter, you need to relax your loops. You need to relax your tension. So what I've been doing is I'm using 3 fingers which is the same size as my foundation chain. So unlike the regular patterns, you will have like 3 here and then your next one will be 2. These 3 fingers is going to help to account for the pattern contraction that tends to happen with any pattern that has to do with crisscross and pulling. As you can see on this side, they are even around here because of that extra loop that I'm going. So I'm not going to pull so hard on this. This is relaxed, right? Slip this to the back like so. Now, I've already extended this to 3 loops in my previous row. So it's going to account for this extra space right here. Do you see that? Which will cover up this space like so. Then I will take the yarn. You see now that it's close to this without necessarily pulling this. So slip this to the back, right? You see now that this loop from here is meeting with this. And then pass my new loop from inside without pulling this place. I try to put my hand down holding this, and then I'll stretch my working yarn 3 fingers like so. Do you see that? And then I'll pull this one that I slipped up and then cross over this yarn here like so. Again, because it's 3 fingers long, I can stretch it a little bit and it will still be okay. Or look at how it is staying close to the next loop, kissing as usual. And then I will put the working yarn in, pull from the working yarn itself, and that is crossed. Do you see you have no holes around here? It is covered. Your stitches are looking relaxed, and at the same time, it is coming along nice. Same thing with this. Again, when you're doing your crisscross, you should remember that your loop size here has to be the same with your foundation chain. Your foundation chain should not be bigger than your loop size in your working, in the body of your work. So that will account for any gap, and that will account for any pattern contraction. Slip this backwards. Again, I'll show you one more time. If I pull this like this without pulling, you can see that it takes the space behind here to cover the gap, and it's close to my last previous loop right here. And then put my working yarn in, pull out, and pull up. And then I'll do 3 fingers that I use in the same foundation, and that will stay on its own like that. Then I'll take this loop next. Again, if I cross it over, you can see it's meeting the next loop like this, and it is crossing over this loop comfortably. Then I'll pick my working yarn. This is where my working yarn is. Push in and pull through up like so. Once I pull up, I'll measure 3 fingers and put down. Again, same thing. This is this and this is this. Remember, this is 3 loops. And then if I come this way, it is close to this. If you notice that when you pull, it's not coming close, you don't have to pull all the way to touch it. Although that's why I'm advising that you should make your loop extra longer than you would normally have. So right now it is relaxed. Then I'll put my working yarn in like so, 3 fingers, and then this will sit on top of this and go this way. And that is 3. There you go. So this is what you'll be having in your second row of crisscross. Now we are going to do what we did in the second row. This is the third row, I mean, because we have foundation, basic knit, first, second row, and this is the third row. So for fourth row, we'll repeat what we did in row 2. Again, I'm going to knit this side up, no drop stitch, like so. Make sure you extend this, good. And then this will now start pairing each other again, like so. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and the last 2. So I'm going to repeat that all the way across here. And then I will repeat my number 3 in my number 5. So recap, I have a foundation. 3 fingers width was what I used for my foundation. I have a basic knit. 3 fingers width was what I used for my basic knit in my row 1. And I used that to account for the crossing over of each of the loop so that it would minimize pattern contraction pulling in your work. Now that is row 1. Then in row 2 is where I began my pattern. In my pattern, the first becomes second, the second becomes first, meaning I will pick my second loop as my first. I'll cross over and pull loop through that first, and then I will cross over the first one on top of the second one that has now become the first one, and I would do that. I think the video does the explanation. So this is the 2 loops. Second loop is picked first, like so. 3 fingers, relax knitting. There you go. And then first loop now becomes the first. There you go, 3 fingers. And then another pair, right so. Second becomes first. Like you see, they're kissing each other like so. Because I extended the loop from the previous row. And then pull 3, lay it down. Pull the first one now, cross over. As you can see, it is close to the next loop right here. That is kissing the loops together. Pull this. Try to use this to hold this down, because if you don't hold, you'll just be stretching it excessively. So I try to hold that down, and then that is 3. Same thing goes with this. So I'll continue that to here, and I'll do like 3 more rows, and I'll show you the final result when I'm done. So this is the final results, and I've gone ahead, I've casted off, and the cast off is a little bit different from the regular way that we do cast off. If you want me to share a video on how I cast off this particular stitch pattern, comment once and I would upload that video next. So I hope this video was helpful, safe for later use.